Hourly, if you want to break it down hourly, they're spending 83,000 USD hourly. That is 12.5 million Jamaican dollars hourly. Welcome back to another episode of JAtalks. My name is Jasam, and for today we'll be talking about the USS Nimitz CVN 68 that will be in Jamaica. They're coming here, well, they're actually already here. They will be here from the 1st of June until the 5th of June. We're going to get into that and more right after the break.
Just some productions, presents, JAtalks. Director just I'm in the building. Policy, politics, current affairs. Let's go. From the hills of Manchester to the world stage. We turning the leaf, we opening the page. No smiling dentist talk, we keep it real and raw. The truth about the island, from the mountain to the shore. We walk about policy, we talk about politics. Current affairs, we give you all the facts, no tricks. Parliament clash or the latest news trend. JAtalks at the place where the message transcend. JAtalks, we attack the truth. JAtalks, inspiring the youth, substance over style, making nation wise. Open up your ears and open up your eyes. Hit the red button, make the community grow. Like the video now, so the world can know. Hit the bell, don't miss a beat, no delay. JAtalks, the only voice you need today.
Subscribe to the JAtalks movement. Remember, your independence is the foundation of your liberation. Alrighty then. So now, the warship actually, the USS Nimitz CVN 68. Again, they are going to be here from the 1st. Well, that was Monday gone until was it what? Thursday or Friday? Friday, yeah, Friday. So until Friday. So from the 1st, which is Monday, until this Friday, the 5th, is when they're going to be leaving. Now, I'm going to give my full breakdown, my full commentary. But first, as you guys know how it go, I'm going to drop a video. We're going to watch the video because we want to hear what the government of Jamaica has to say. And then I will give my full breakdown commentary. All right? So take a look, and I'll give my commentary after this.
Today has been an absolutely special day. We're on the USS Nimitz, and it is one of the largest naval carriers in the entire world. And we got to come on this carrier because of the team at the US Embassy. And I really want to thank the entire team here, the commanding officer, Admiral, wherever Admiral is, I want to thank him also. It's really just a symbol of the US-Jamaica friendship. We have a relationship that spans so many areas, from education to security to transportation. And it's a relationship that we value as Jamaicans. And so today was really special to come on this carrier, to see Jamaicans working in really highly specialized areas, doing really well, also flying the Jamaican flag really high in this place. And so for me, that was one of the highlights. Obviously, seeing the experience and the kind of ability to do very, very difficult things in the air, that was a highlight for me. I mean, the skill of the team and the officers has been amazing to see. And so I want to thank the US government for this, and thank especially the Jamaican members of the crew for coming out and being a part of this.
All right, there you have it. So, again, what they said, they're here on a goodwill, right? They're here on a goodwill trip to Jamaica. Now, I did some research because actually, to be very honest with you, when I got wind of this information, I did not really care much, Makataka. And then somebody reached out to me and said, you know what? You need to look into this. So I was like, okay, fine, let me look into this. Because I recognize as well on social media that there's a lot of distrust, a lot of concern going along. And so I wanted to find out what exactly is taking place. I also wanted to match the official report with the reality, with what people are saying, right? I want to really find out all of what is taking place. So now, let's look into all of what they indicated that they're doing. So it's a Goodwill project. So school infrastructure and beautification project. Sailors are deploying into local communities to perform school improvement and beautification projects. They are providing physical, they will be physically working alongside the JDF to repair and paint the local schools that were previously damaged. There's also STEM and university student exchange. So they're providing unique opportunities for the local Jamaican university students to experience science, technology, engineering, and mathematics in the real world setting, conducting exclusive and onboard tours, subject matter expert exchanges, where they show local students and JDF personnel how aircraft carriers operates and nuclear reactors function. I don't really know why I would need to know why nuclear reactors function, but okay. All right. There's also youth sports and engagement as well. So there'll be the lasting so building lasting people to people connections with the younger generations, organizing and hosting sport activities and friendly community matches with local Jamaican youth. Also local tourism spending. So providing economic benefits for local communities. Information Minister Donna Morris Dixon explicitly noted on Beyond the Headlines that a major component of the correspondence involves elements of tourism for those that are on the aircraft carrier, meaning the sailors are getting shore leave rather to spend US dollars on food, transport, and local goods. Wonderful. 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 Bravo. Now, while all of that sounds nice, I ask myself the question because, again, a lot of Jamaicans have a concern, right? So let's just look at the history of what has been taking place. With first of all, we are in a geopolitical climate. We have the situation that took place in Venezuela with the US take the president, right? We have the situation with Cuba. Cuba is right next to Jamaica. Cuba, I believe, I stand to be corrected, they are the closest Caribbean nation to Jamaica. They're 90 miles. As a matter of fact, from Kingston, you can stand and see Cuba from Kingston, I was told. And the US Nimitz came to Kingston, which is which would be close to Cuba, right? Being that this is a warship, right? This having to do with war and things of that nature, only one minister, Jamaican minister, would be the real person for them to correspond with. It would not be the Minister of Education or Information. It would not be Dal Vaz, the Minister of Transformation. I'm so sorry, the Minister of Transport, rather, and Energy. It would not be any of those two. In terms of collaboration, again, this is a warship. Only one minister this is supposed to do any form of collaboration or speaking to, engagement with, and that would be with the Minister of Defense. And for those of you who do not know who the Minister of Defense is, the Minister of Defense holds two portfolios, right? He's the Minister of Defense and he's also Jamaica's commanding in chief. That would be the Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, right? The JDF answers directly to the Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, whereas the police answers to Dr. Harris Chang. He's the Minister of National Security. So the police force answers to him. The soldiers, the Jamaican soldiers, JDF answers directly to Andrew Holness because he's also the Minister of Defense. And so when a warship of this magnitude comes to Jamaica, because you're in our territory, the best person to speak with would be the Minister of Defense, which is the Prime Minister Andrew Holness. I ask myself, with all of these goodwill projects that they're doing, right? could there be another route? Because when you come with a ship, as you are aware, a lot of persons, don't feel comfortable with a ship, right? A warship specifically, let me say. A lot of Jamaicans, in light of recent events, especially with the United States, a lot of persons do not feel comfortable with the ship. And I asked myself while I was doing my research, I asked myself the question, could there be an alternative method? Instead, with all of what you're doing, your school infrastructure and beautification projects, STEM, university and education, uh youth sports engagement, local tourism spending, could there be an alternative route in getting the job done efficiently without a warship? And it turns out there is, because the US actually has what is called the USNS Comfort. This is a dedicated hospital ship. The US Navy owns the USNS Comfort, which is a massive dedicated floating hospital. When the US wants to do actual humanitarian medical missions in the Caribbean, they send the Comfort. It brings operating rooms, dental suites, and hundreds of doctors directly to the ports to treat thousands of local citizens as well. Also as well, there is US Aid. Everybody's aware of US Aid. They provide funds, they provide donations, because again, remember, you want to help the country. So you and remember, you're doing beautification and you're helping to repair schools, so the US Aid could send a check to the country so that we could effectively repair the schools that were damaged. Also, as well, remember, they indicated that they're going to be the engineering part. Let me go back on it again. Um, the STEM University Student Exchange, providing unique opportunity for local Jamaican citizen students to experience science, technology, engineering, and mathematics in the real world setting. And so, that part specifically, right? So one may say, but what about that? Educating and teaching the Jamaican youths, when it comes down to Jamaican students specifically, and also the JDF. Well, they also have the US also have what is called the Peace Corps and Civil Engineering CBs. Instead of sending 4,000 combat trained soldiers on a warship, the US could fly a small detachment of the US Navy CB's Military Elite Construction and Engineering Corps, or Peace Corps volunteer, on a standard commercial flight. They could stay on the ground for 6 months, transfer real technical engineering skills to JDF, and build actual drainage and climate resilience infrastructure, and also teach the youth, the students as well, when it comes on to STEM engineering techniques and practices as well. No, I want to look at something else, because this is a very powerful ship, right? The Nimitz is a very powerful ship. This is a warship. And so when I did my research as well, to run a Nimitz class nuclear powered super carrier by itself, and this is just the ship without its full protective fleet, the US defense budget allocates an estimate 726 million US dollars per year to operate and maintain the ship. When you break that down into standard timelines, they're spending roughly 2 million USD per day in Jamaica. 2 million USD. That is actually 300 million Jamaican dollars daily. Hourly, if you want to break it down hourly, they're spending 83,000 USD hourly. That is 12.5 million Jamaican dollars hourly. So let me take up my calculator real quick, because you're coming to Jamaica for 5 days, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if it's we're using the Jamaican currency. If it's going to cost you 300 million Jamaican dollars to just be here to do your Goodwill project, 300 multiplied by 5 is 1.5. It is going to cost you 1.5 billion Jamaican dollars to do your Goodwill project. What? Let us look back on. It is going to cost you 1.5 billion dollars to come to Jamaica. You're not spending on Jamaica. You're just going to travel all the way here to Jamaica, and you're going to paint schools, beautification projects, and health repair schools. You're going to what? Teach students and STEM students and JDF technical skills in the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. You're going to youth engagement program, building long-lasting relationship and connections, right? And sports. And what else? Tourism. Spend the little pocket change out of their pocket. They're going to spend buy two little jerk chicken. It is going to cost you $1.5 billion to come to Jamaica, to stay in Jamaica, or Jamaican waters rather, from Monday to Friday. $1.5 billion just for do this. Just for paint a school. Just to it is going to cost you 1.5 billion Jamaican dollars to teach students. The cost of the transportation alone, you could have taken a regular commercial flight and do all of this, since you're so charitable, since you want to help us all. And so it begs the question, what is the real reason you're here? Because this does not add up and this does not make any sense. Your reasoning, this is an afterthought. This is effectively an afterthought. This don't make no sense. I'm sorry, this don't make no sense. This does not make any. What is your real reason for coming here? Because why would any logical thinking person, organization, company, country decide that they want to spend $1.5 billion just in transportation alone to paint two little school and buy jerk chicken? And as a matter of fact, they'll teach, they'll so-called teaching record. You can do it over Zoom. You never ever come here. You cannot do it over Zoom. Well, if you had you take 2 days, you're spending $300 million per day. If you took just 2 days, that is 600 million Jamaican dollars, and donated it to the Ministry of Education, you know what school can I get fixed? You would have more than repaired schools. So just for paint two little school, you can spend 1.5 billion. You take a fee that. And I have to now look at the government and ask a question as well. Because it's either you're in on this, you are aware of this, or you're an idiot. Because common sense will tell you that the math is not mathing up. Why are you going to waste so much money just to paint two little school and name jerk chicken? This don't make no sense. This don't make no sense. This does not make any sense at all. And if anybody's going to, I don't know who is buying this, but me not buy. And the average Jamaican people have a right to feel how they feel, because this does not make any sense. There are alternative routes that you could have taken to accomplish what you're. As a matter of fact, you could have accomplished way more than what you wanted to accomplish with less, because operating that ship is extremely expensive, and it never made no sense to do that. Since as you're coming here for Goodwill, the ship did not need to be here. So something is not adding up. Government, I don't know what you're aware of. Government of Andrew Holness, Donna Morrison, Dixon, Minister of Education, that what you told us makes no sense. I'm so sorry. It's not adding up. The math is not mathing, and the Jamaican people have a right to ask these questions. We have a right to ask because we have no, I'll be honest, I have no interest of being caught up in any geopolitical war. With how the US is going on right now, we want no parts of it. We want absolutely no parts of it. We have a problem I deal with, we have enough problem I deal with, and so we're not into this US versus China versus Russia versus Cuba. No, we're not upon that. So something is afoot, something is not right, and the Jamaican people are not stupid. Thank you very much for another episode of JA Talks. Thank you very much for joining in again. And I also want to give a shout out. I want to thank the viewers rather who have supported me wholeheartedly. My channel is growing, guys. We are at 294 subscribers. We need to get to 1,000 because I'm going hard. I'm going all the way in on this, and more videos will be dropping. I'm going to be doing more deep dive research. That's the purpose of JA Talks, and I thank you all for your support that you have given me all along. All right, and so guys, until next time, thank you very much. Please never forget that your independence is the foundation of your liberation. Walk good, Jamaica.